Thursday, May 21st. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, well. All right.
You had me kind of wandered off there.
Yeah, I did.
We all did.
I think about something else. I'm going to start off a little different for right now. We lost a member of our little family here at the townhouse last week, Mike Drake. We hired him as a fire administrator and then also emergency management agent. Then we told him, don't worry about the emergency management end of things, there's not much to do. Then the two storms hit, and then between Mike Drake and the staff upstairs, how much money did he get us from FEMA?
Over $600,000.
Over 600,000.
Yeah.
He dealt with two different people at FEMA, and anyway, we miss him. We wish he was here, but at this point, we'll do a moment of silence before we move on. Mike Drake. All right. Adoption of the agenda?
I think there was one item
Yep.
that you might consider adding tonight, and it would be to sole source with Port City Architecture to help with some of the design work that needs to happen for the recycling center project.
Oh, thank you, I didn't print that
Yep.
out.
Where do you want to put it?
Other business.
Okay.
Other business.
Okay.
What about the Weber contract?
Yes, that's going to come under Mitchell Field, so I can talk
Oh,
about
okay.
that under that
All right.
section of the agenda.
All right. Public comment? Nothing? All right, select board announcement. I have an announcement I have to make. We're issuing this statement to inform our community of a cybersecurity fraud incident that happened here at the townhouse. The town recently became victim of fraud scheme in which it received fraudulent payment instructions that were made to appear as they came from a vendor, diverting $189,199 of municipal funds away from the intended recipient. Upon discovering the fraud, the town immediately took the following steps. Contacted our financial institution and recipient institution to assist in efforts to recover the misdirected funds. Reported the incident to local federal law enforcement authorities who have opened an investigation. Contacted the vendor, notified an insurance carrier, notified engaged legal counsel, and contacted our audited firm. Investigating into the matter is ongoing. The town is fully cooperating with law enforcement and pursuing all available avenues for recovery. We're also reviewing and strengthening our internal payment authorization and verification protocols to guard against similar schemes in the future. As the matter involves an active law enforcement investigation, we're not in a position to provide additional details at this time. The town will issue further public updates when circumstances permit. We appreciate the community's patience and understanding as this intervention proceeds. Signed, Harpswell Select Board. The three of us signed onto this. All right? Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a couple. The reason we moved the meeting forward tonight is at 6:30 tonight, there is a school board meeting in Thompson to go over the budget. So if that's something that interests you, at 6:30 tonight at the high school, there'll be a budget meeting, and that's where you vote on the warrant articles. Another quick one, over the last couple days, Roger Allard installed all the American flags on the telephone poles along the Cundy's Harbor Road, and I'd just like to take a second and thank him and the others for that effort. It looks wonderful.
I've got two things. One is you'll be getting things in the mail for spraying poison around to kill mosquitoes. It's that time of year. I just caution people about spraying poison. You're killing everything, including the spiders, which generally eat mosquitoes. And also, don't forget this coming Monday, the 25th, is the Memorial Day Parade, and it starts in Harpswell Center at 11 o'clock. Rain or shine, and weather doesn't look like it's going to be that great, but everybody usually turns out anyway.
Is Tick Ranger on the list of companies that are allowed to spray in Harpswell? I see them everywhere. Maybe Mary Ann knows. They are?
Shaking her head, yes.
Yeah, well, okay, just curious. I see them everywhere.
The tick spray is the worst stuff. The chemical they use stops the ticks from shedding. It also stops lobsters from shedding. So it not only kills ticks, it kills one of the most important crustaceans we have.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, yep, as long as David brought it up.
Hi, Mary Ann Nate from the Conservation Commission. David showed me the program. There are certain pesticides that are allowed to be used in town depending on how far away they are from the water. The pesticide applicators are supposed to be following that. However, I don't know that it always is followed. I will say, though, and something that the Conservation Commission is looking into doing, it would be good if the state would require the applicators to show what they sprayed at a particular location, because they put their sign up. They're supposed to have that information on their truck. That would allow a neighbor to check out what it is when they call, for us to know if it's something that is allowed or not. But to David's point, the postcard shows everything. Right now, people are most concerned, I think, with ticks.
There's a lot of ticks.
And so I've heard.
Yeah,
I don't have them by me. I don't know why you have them by you.
I have them all.
Get some chickens.
Yeah,
Thank you.
all right. Town administrators report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to say on behalf of the staff that we will deeply miss Michael Drake, who was our fire administrator, emergency management director, and also the fire warden. We worked closely with him for several years. He did an excellent job looking out for the safety and health of the community, and he's going to be a hard person to replace. So just wanted to express that on behalf of the staff. And that's it. I'll let you move on. I know you have a lot on your agenda tonight, so
All right.
thank you.
Consent agenda.
You want it or you want me to?
I'll move the consent agenda, which is,
Don't fight, kids.
which is the approval of the minutes, this certified ratio declaration form, and the authorization of the warrants, as usual.
And I will second it.
All right, no discussion, all in favor? All right, Wright Ryan contract regarding the Central Emergency Services Building.
Yes, so Cordelia Pittman is here tonight. She's representing Wright Ryan.
We have to say,
Read it all?
holy cow.
It's a voluminous contract, and it is the contract that's used by many architects and construction firms, so they're quite familiar with it. I will want to thank Jonathan Burbank for offering his services to assist the town with the contract negotiations, and I think Cordelia could best summarize the document for you.
It's long. So I'm Cordelia Pittman. I'm the Vice President of Project Development at Wright Ryan Construction. So the contract you're looking at is the contract between the town of Harpswell and Wright Ryan Construction to become the construction manager for the fire building, emergency services building. So you do have another contract and a separate contract with Port City Architecture. It's a complementary contract. So these are all part of the same suite of contracts that are written by the AIA. So the contract in front of you, in all of its length, I apologize for that, starts with the AIA A133, which is a CM at risk contract, which basically spells out what each party does. It's kind of how you bake the cake. Like here's what we all do. This is what we're agreeing to do together. The A201, which follows, is basically the general conditions and really just goes into the rules of the road in much sort of finer detail. And then we have attached to that, there's an attachment that is simply everyone's insurance requirements. So our insurance requirements, the town's insurance requirements, which we've been working a lot with Christy on. And then there's an Exhibit A, which will eventually get signed once we get to a guaranteed maximum price. So the beauty of this contract is that we agree to all the terms and conditions ahead of time, and then we, working with the architects, get pricing, get subcontractor pricing and input, and then ultimately agree to a price and a schedule. That's Exhibit A. Exhibit B is the insurance, and then there's other exhibits, one of which was our pre-construction agreement, our rates, and I think that's it. So that's a really high-level overview of it. I'm happy to answer questions. I don't know, Christy, if that's sort of what you had in mind.
Sure, yeah.
Nope, again, I want to thank Jonathan and Christie. They went through this, and then Jonathan sat me down the other day to summarize it.
Oh, good, oh, good. Yeah, no, he was very helpful. He had some really good questions that I had never been asked before, so
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
great.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
No?
Well, I'd like to get moving forward with the project, so
Yeah.
I move that we contract with,
I'll second it.
Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Great,
So
thanks.
how do we want to deal with the signature piece?
So what I could, are you able to DocuSign, or does that, you can?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what I will do is we'll send it to you in an, so should it go to Kevin Johnson?
He's going to DocuSign it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so do I have his email
I will
address?
send it to you.
Perfect. So we'll send it to you in a DocuSign envelope. You'll get copied on it so you can just see it. My president will have signed it ahead of time, and then we'll just flow back in the normal DocuSign way. So,
so
Okay.
so I will move that we authorize Kevin to sign it.
I think it's set
Yeah.
up for his signature.
It is.
Yeah.
I'll
Yes.
second that.
Yeah,
okay,
All in favor?
yeah.
Right.
Great.
Okay. great.
Thank you, Cordelia.
Thank you very much.
Planning matters regarding wetlands assessment recommendation for housing consultant.
Hi, everyone. I'm Margaret McIntyre, the town planner. For starters, the wetland assessment is a two-part project that we budgeted for 2026. The high-level project is a kind of assessment of the freshwater wetlands in town that hasn't been done since maybe 1993 or so. And we are going to work hopefully with, I'd like you to authorize us to work with Flycatcher and Tim Forrester on the project. And then the more detailed part of the project is looking specifically at 3 wetlands in town that have been identified as being zoned incorrectly. Mainly, there's one in the middle of Cundy's Harbor, across from the Cranberry Horn Cemetery, that's zoned shoreline residential. It's just incorrect. And so we had a resident reach out to us a few years ago that said they wanted us to fix the zoning on their property, and in order to do that, we need to figure out what's there so we can support our decision to change it in the future. If a freshwater wetland is zoned in town, it's either interior or it's going to be resource protection based on our current ordinances. So you know, sorry, so you know that if it's zoned shoreline residential, it's wrong, basically. The town has looked, we've discussed over the years in many different reports, the open space plan, other wetland assessments, we have talked about how to preserve these wetlands, knowing that they don't necessarily fit the mold for our current zoning. But we just want to figure out what is actually there to figure out what it's supposed to be. And we have Tim Forrester here to explain how he's going to do the project.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
If at the bottom under assumptions and exclusions, it says the town will acquire all right of entry permission for field work. What happens if we are not able to acquire that right of entry? Will the price change accordingly if, say, there's one wetland that can't be studied or looked at? Will-
I think that just like the reval, it would just make the data less accurate.
Okay.
So they're going to do their best based on, and it's possible that we don't even need to get on the wetlands, depending on what they find. You know,
Yeah,
it's-
with the
if
other-
it's obvious that it goes one way or the other, I don't think that we necessarily even need to go. But
Good.
we, you know, they needed the option of field verifying things.
Yeah.
And if a resident doesn't want us on their property, then that's okay, and we won't field verify the conditions.
Does this include the emergency services building, or is that a separate, that's a
That's
separate?
a separate
Separate.
wetland issue.
Yeah,
Hey, there's no wetland.
But Flycatcher is involved in
Oh, perfect.
determining.
that's why I
Well,
asked.
then he can answer that question too.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Tim Forrest with Flycatcher. I also have Drew Kenworthy here online. Drew is our GIS, our GIS lead. So if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, he's happy to take you down that rabbit hole. I'd also like to say it's a pleasure to be here before you and not talk about a dock. So I'm happy to answer any questions. This is essentially a desktop analysis. It's all GIS based. You know, nothing substantial has been done in the town since 1993 with a report from Normandeau in 1995. Since that time, the data, the methodologies have all drastically improved. You know, we have access to LiDAR data, new soils information, hydrology, you know, the whole gamut. So our ability to pull all of that into a GIS system and then analyze it it's much greater than what was before. So the general approach is to look at these 3 focus wetlands first, and then use that same data set and then extend it out to the rest of the sites within town.
So, Tim, are you saying there's no field work involved in this? It's all done at the desk?
It can all be done at
Primarily.
the desk. It would be nice. There may be an opportunity where we get into a certain spot that, you know, it would be nice to field verify something. So if there is an opportunity to go out there, nothing beats on the ground. But for this volume of information, you really need to start, you know, at a higher level.
How long do you think this will take you, if you had to guess? Rough ballpark it.
That's a great question for Drew, since he's the one who's going to be, you know, crunching it all behind the scenes. So we'll see if he can unmute. Here we go.
Have the
Sure,
people
I'm
been
unmuted
approached
now.
yet?
Good evening, everybody. I think a project like this, you know, the phase 1 with the 3 wetlands, and then the total of 27 wetlands, so 24 other wetlands for desktop analysis. Our approach is really to build out the data that we'll be using for these evaluations for the entirety, not just for the first 3, and then do it again for the other 24. So we'll build the data set probably at a townwide scale, since the wetlands exist at a townwide scale. And then that's probably like a 2 or 3 day effort, the analysis component, where we bring in additional layers, whether they're related to terrain or hydrography, and look at those in detail with respect to the wetland boundaries. Is just another couple days of labor. And so I would think a project like this we could execute within a 2 to 3 week time frame.
Holy cow. All right, that was a lot quicker than I thought you were gonna say. Impressive.
I told you.
Thanks.
Yeah. I shouldn't have doubted you. I should know better at this point.
Well, I move that we contract with Flycatcher and that we authorize the staff to work with them.
I second it.
Discussion, all in favor?
Thank you very much.
I just want to follow that up with, the goal will obviously be to inform future shoreline zoning maps. We know that those 3 wetlands that are zoned shoreline residential are incorrect. At least 2 of them are incorrect, because they would be resource protection if they were freshwater wetlands that could be regulated under shoreline zoning. And what was I just going to say, the other thing? Oh, we're going to have a kickoff meeting for the abutters in the 3 wetlands and the 250-foot buffer based on the wetlands as defined on our shoreline zoning map now. It's going to be over Zoom. We're going to do it on June 9th. People can join. Hopefully we'll get a lot of abutters there. They'll ask some good questions, and they'll all feel like we are really trying to help take the burden off the homeowner by verifying the boundaries of the wetland on their property.
What time was that again, Margaret?
I think we're going to do it at 6
Thank you.
on Zoom, but we can put the link on the website unless it already is.
Yep.
And then the second item, recommendation for housing consultant. We would like to work with North Star Planning for this housing project that we are doing. I've been up to talk to you guys a bunch about it, but LD 1829 that was passed a few years ago, in 2025, sorry, required us to make some amendments to our zoning ordinance. Then the state offered funding to do the project, and so we put an RFP out, and then Christy and I interviewed Ben from North Star Planning, and we would like to recommend him for the job
And this is funded by a grant.
through the Housing Opportunity Program, which is a part of MOCA. And we've already received the grant. We got it a couple weeks ago.
All right, well, I move that we contract with, who is it?
North Star Planning.
North Star Planning, thank you. You could have made the motion.
Second it.
All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Mitchell Field matters, overnight parking, traffic pattern, and other items.
Hi, Katie Neal, Parks, Recreation
Rec.
and Community Services. New. Thank you so much. Wanted to discuss overnight parking at Mitchell Field, which is the space in town where we have historically allowed overnight parking with permission from the harbor master. And that first came about in 2021. Due to all of the changes down at Mitchell Field related to the boat launch and unknown/anticipated increased traffic, we are asking to put a pause on accepting overnight applications so we can better evaluate the need, the impact, as well as staff time and resources.
Holy cow, with all the hoops they have to jump through, nobody's going to park there anyway.
I mean, that's provided that they follow the rules.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I don't mind pausing. That's,
Yeah.
you want that official?
I do want it
I make the
official.
motion that we pause the overnight parking.
What's the plan with the gate? Are we gonna close the gate and close it at night if we don't allow overnight parking?
Still sunrise to sunset.
We've been talking about leaving it open,
Right.
It is,
because we have a boat ramp there now.
yeah.
Right, an all-tide boat ramp that if you
Yeah.
close the gate, you can't access at
You
all
would- You would
times.
need an all-tide boat ramp.
It is my limited perspective that it is probably time to start leaving the gate open and allow monitoring by the various officers, during the time when we would normally have it shut. I believe the gate has been not consistently locked during the construction period down at Mitchell Field. And I think this was probably a long time coming, in my limited perspective.
Yeah, I agree with that, too. Yeah.
So we just give a nod of the head that not to lock the gate.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't need a formal vote on it, do we?
I mean, anytime you want to make something formal
Yeah,
feels
you might-
helpful.
You might want to, just to.
Not to
Yeah.
complicate things, but Mitchell Field is always complicated. Do you think that Merry Meeting Shellfish has a understanding that will that impact their business at all?
They
Do
should.
they have equipment? Do they expect is it part of their lease that it's gonna be locked? Are they expecting it to be locked? I just wouldn't want to negatively impact,
I don't know that they expect it. I think they have a key.
Oh, they have a key.
They access it when they want,
Yeah.
and I don't know that they have an expectation one way or the other. They may have some concerns for security, for people driving in there at night.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But
So anyway, I did make the motion that we,
I think, thank you, Margaret, for being so thoughtful, as always. I would, of course, want to notify the officers in town so that they would increase their visibility down there. But I would also assume that they would recommend that the gates remain open. We might have to consider moving a gate to the south perimeter road or rethinking infrastructure down there, but
well, as it is, the deputy drives around in there at night before they lock the gate to make sure there's no one they're going to lock in. So
Yep.
Yeah.
it saves them kind of a hassle.
Yep.
Why don't we open it when we open up the boat ramp, whenever we decide to do that,
that sounds like a great suggestion.
same day, big day.
All right, I
No,
will.
no gate, grand opening.
I have another question. before I second it.
Well, I'm going to modify it anyway, so, yeah.
All
go
right,
ahead.
so I won't worry about that. Then my other question is I agree with what you said here to study the day-to-day parking demands and stuff like that. What is our plan to study this, though? How, like, is there somebody, like, we should have a plan in place, you know, if we're gonna limit overnight parking to study the day-to-day needs, like, what is our plan, I guess, to study those day-to-day needs? Like, should we be looking at, like, a traffic engineer? Are we gonna be relying on Dawn, a volunteer? Are we gonna be relying on also the Mitchell Field Committee, who are also volunteers? I think we should, I agree with what you said, that we should limit overnight parking, but I just wanna make sure that when we do that, that we're gonna get the benefit of doing that and get the study right and have a good idea of the traffic plan going forward.
I think we're gonna do that wait and see attitude and see, it sounds simple, but.
Oh, it don't sound simple to me at all.
Well, just, that's kind of what we talked about, we just kind
And you
of.
do realize if we leave the gates open, people are going to be parking there at night without the 2 pages of requirements that,
And to be fair, I was down there getting training with our harbor master for the Maine Healthy Beaches program. And folks are already moving cones in the parking area and parking willy-nilly there. So,
people are people, you know.
People are people. I am hoping to hire a monitor soon that will be working alongside Don. The Mitchell Field Committee is fantastic and integral into providing regular feedback. I think it's going to require more oversight, especially when we first open it.
Agreed.
It doesn't make sense to me to block off, as that policy currently states, the overnight parking is where our new boat and trailer parking is going to be. So it feels not like a great choice to reserve parking spots in that area for overnight parking. So I just think we just need to reevaluate parking in the short term, a wait and see model, but probably long term to have a traffic engineer give us a better opinion that is not so enmeshed in the field.
enmeshed.
I will say yesterday, when I was down there yesterday, there were 3 cars blocking the exit of the Lower Meadow Road. So if you'd gone down there with the boat trailer, these 3 cars, I think they were the people down on the floats having a grand old time, but they could have parked any better to block that road.
So I move that we hold off on the overnight parking plan and that we begin to leave the gate open, at least on a trial basis, beginning with the ribbon cutting of the boat launch,
Whenever that is.
whenever that is.
I assume we're probably gonna get to that later, aren't we?
I think we might be looking at next week.
We'll
Yeah,
discuss that when we
yeah,
get to that
yeah.
topic, but I'll second that motion.
All right. All in favor?
Right?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Naming 2 rights-of-ways. That's
Oh, wait.
always fun.
No, we got more still under Mitchell
We still
Field. We
have-
got traffic
Oh, that's
pattern
right.
and other items.
I was in a hurry.
I noticed.
So I think traffic pattern comes back to you from 2 weeks ago when Don Miskell, the steward, presented a proposal for a loop
Yep.
involving the boat launch and then also a loop involving those people who might park in that administration area parking.
So it hasn't
Why?
changed from his proposal, right? This is
No,
just
but I
official.
think the staff has been talking about the parking, or the traffic flow situation, and we think the focus right now should be on the boat launch loop,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yep.
But right now, we have not put a full landscaping plan together for covering what was the foundation of the administration building. We need more time for that proposal to come together, and we think people just pulling into the administration area, parking, and pulling back out the way they do now would be fine for the moment.
So you're asking to propose approve the blue
Yes,
path?
yes,
Okay.
yes, and to hold off
All
on
right,
On the
the
rest.
other.
yeah. All right, I so move.
I so second. Wait,
Again, I think that we should let Mary Meeting Shellfish know I think
Yeah.
Dawn has communicated with them, but I think what you were discussing might be a little bit different. than
I
what-
don't think anything changes for Mary meeting.
Well,
They're
Dawn
the-
has them going.
Oh, they're gonna go on the blue path?
Dawn has them going in a different
Yeah.
way
Oh.
and crossing
the-
the boat launch traffic.
They're on the
and-
green path.
And then
Have it- oh,
it-
that- Well, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
just-
thinking about shellfish.
he and I
was
talked
thinking
about
the
it
boat launch.
yesterday, and, you know, Mary Meeting Shellfish could go down the boat launch road and over. I just think that whatever we decide for them, we just have to make sure that,
They can do whatever they do anyway. We can have signs everywhere.
I think they're gonna get in there,
I
how they,
agree.
It's not gonna be a steady stream of boats being launched, but,
well, and they don't have a steady stream of vendors either, so,
Right.
so.
yeah. I want to make sure that everybody, all the users of the field.
I think his point is, he really wouldn't want Mary Meeting using the road it does now, because they might come up against a boat
Right.
coming in the other direction, but I think that road is wide enough to handle that.
It is.
I don't know
anyway.
which road you're
I'm talking about the one that's in front of what was the former administration building.
The
Yeah.
main road.
Oh, the main
Yeah,
road,
the
yeah.
main road.
But that's all going to be one way now.
we'll have to put a
So-
traffic,
Boat launch traffic,
Maybe.
yeah.
put a
I'll
traffic
talk to-
light there.
Yeah, all right, anyways.
I
just
did
wanted-
not think about Mary Meeting, so thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Just put a traffic light at the corner there and
I think the
more
loop for
sign.
the boat launch, and we'll work with Mary Meeting to see if they can work with that traffic flow.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So I think you should okay the one-way loop for the boat launch, and we can
we just did, didn't we?
talk to.
We get a boat still.
And when it opens, when the facility opens, the grand opening, we're
right.
not doing it
That's right,
tomorrow,
Whenever that is.
but it'll be
The
part
night
of,
you're interrupting.
part of the grand
The
opening.
ribbon cutting.
Yes,
All right,
and we
all in
will
favor?
have, okay.
All right.
Then we got other items.
Yep. Get the Weber
Vote
thing.
on that one? Did we- Okay. And then other items, so I know there's a lot of interest in when are we gonna open the boat launch. So we have a couple of items that need to be addressed. One of them is a guardrail, and we decided that we did not want this metal guardrail that had been proposed initially, and so the select board asked for an alternative to that metal guardrail, and we have worked with a local contractor and with our engineer to recommend boulders be put on what would be the north side of the boat launch causeway area. And they would be about 3 by 3 feet, you know, the size of these stones, placed about 6 feet apart on the edge of the asphalt. And that would be on the north side. On the south side, I think the board discussed, or we talked about, allowing that natural
Yes.
vegetation
Right, yep.
to come back, and again, not to have a metal guardrail. So that figure, we just received that figure this afternoon. It's just over $5,000, which I think is quite a reduction in the cost of the $25,000
Yeah.
metal guardrail. So I think that's a great possibility. And then there's that $5,000, $350 figure also includes some stone being put in the area that they call the stub pier. And it was a requirement that it not be more than 30 inches from where that stub pier is to where the rocks are. And right now, I think we might be at about 36 inches, so we've got to get some more rock in there.
It's pretty
And-
close,
And
yeah.
that would meet the engineering requirement for that issue. And then we have one more small item on the float area that we have to address. So those 3 items need to be done before you open the.
Do we have an idea? I agree completely with anything. I was just curious too if we had an idea of when Weber would be able to complete that.
I don't have the completion date on that. Was there any discussion about that?
Yeah, he seemed to think he'd get on it right away.
Yeah.
So we could get it done
Yeah.
next week, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it sounded like.
And we have one more item, thank you for reminding me, Terry. There's a lip on the
yeah.
concrete
Oh, yeah.
pad
I was going to ask
that
about
we've left.
that.
So we do have a proposal from Lakeside Concrete Cutting, and it's under $2,000, but we're still trying to decide if we want them to bring all this heavy equipment down and cut it, or if we should just go with a jackhammering route. And so I don't have a final
Did you
proposal,
happen
but
to
it would be less,
Ask Weber's?
pardon?
Did we happen to ask Weber's if that was
I
something
don't-
they could do with the jackhammer?
Because honestly, it's
Kind of
not that much.
But
Because
it-
the jackhammer, it's gonna be,
It's gonna be hard on the pavement on either side of it, I feel like.
Gonna
Yeah,
bust
if
it up.
we jackhammer it, I think they were recommending that we then pour some asphalt
Right.
you know,
to kind of make
Whereas
it
if
more
we
even.
cut it,
Concrete.
you wouldn't have to do anything.
no. it's
So
going-
we are looking at the cutting
Yeah.
proposal. It's less than 2,000, as long as they don't have to come back a second time.
Yeah.
Right.
If they only mobilize
Want to see
once.
pictures? I took them.
So maybe you want to approve that pending final review by our engineering firm,
Yeah.
that's a acceptable solution.
I'll move that we approve the cutting of the concrete as well, and has anybody moved the rocks yet?
Not yet.
I'll move the rocks too.
All right, I'll second.
Don't see any discussion, all in favor?
Thank you. So these are the items that are holding up the opening, and I do think we want to get our signage in place, so I'm not sure where that order is at, but I think within the next week, it's possible we could have a grand opening maybe a week from tomorrow. Katie, any thoughts on that? Do you think that might be doable, but it's unclear?
Of course.
Sure, anything.
Absolutely. Kevin said he had a pair of giant scissors in his garage.
Can you be as vague as possible?
So maybe we will put that out there as a tentative date, but all of these things need to come together between now and then.
I think Don was hustling the Bonneutos up for the signs, right? Carrot signs?
Yeah, the last I heard was next week.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, they got the batteries all charged up on the post hole digger, so anytime he's ready.
That's what I heard. Okay. Anything else on
I
Mitchell
think
Field?
that's it. for
Where
Mitchell
are we
Field.
with the Mitchell Field master plan? Is there any update on that, Mose? Since I'm gonna call you out since you're sitting in the audience, Mose.
No.
The Mo's knows.
I figure you might as well get up and speak if you're gonna sit here and listen to us the whole time.
I'm Mose Price, I live on the Neck. I'm on the Mitchell Field Committee, and at this point, I am heading up the work group that is doing the update for the master plan. And we are at the point now where we're ready to start drafting after the reviews that we've done of the old plan, or the existing plan, I should say, and the recommendations for the waterfront, which at the time they were written included them repurposing of the Navy Pier. And of course, that's history now. So we're hoping that we'll be able to get something in writing to show to the Mitchell Field Committee by the time of the next meeting, which will be the first Monday of June. And then we will have a series of public hearings. We want to get if the committee agrees with what we've done or the changes that we would have to make to what we anticipate doing, then we'll have to get some hearings set up for the public and I hope we can put the draft on the website town so people can access it and read about it and see what it says. And perhaps we can get an article about it in the Anchor and get it published in the Anchor itself. But we don't have any firm schedule as to when it'll be ready to review and agree to, or any schedule set up so far for hearings. But we do plan to do 3 of them and be able to take in whatever input we get from those and then incorporate that as is appropriate to the final plan to present to the Board of Selectmen.
Are you gonna do the hearings after the draft? Is that your plan?
Yes.
So,
We want to have something for people to look at and see what is being proposed and object to it or agree to it or embellish it, whatever they want to do. But I think it'll go more smoothly if people actually have something in front of them to be able to refer to generate questions from them.
the only thing that makes me nervous about that, because of past experiences with the comprehensive plan and presenting drafts to the public and having them react to it, is there's usually a lot more contention when you're asking the public to react to something versus being proactive and getting input from the public. In creating that draft, there's less contention, I found, in my limited experience, if the public is involved in that drafting process. So that's the only thing, I guess, that makes me a little nervous is that you guys pump this draft out and the public sees it, and what happens if they say, we don't like any of this? And then you guys are right back to the drawing board.
Will be. That's
And I just wonder if maybe a little bit of public outreach before the draft came out. And I understand that your meetings are public and stuff like that, and I've been to a couple. But not everybody is available at those times, so that's my only concern is if maybe we could get more public input before we came out with a draft, and I'm only one of 3 people sitting here.
We have talked with stakeholders who would have an interest in the use of the field now, including representatives from the fishing community, from the community garden. And I think there was one more contact we had. I can't remember now who it was. Do you remember, Margaret? Who? Laura Campbell at the Marine Institute over on Pinkham Point. But that's more for the collaboration concept that she presented to us, which may be incorporated in some way in the draft. We haven't got to that point yet. But I understand what you're saying, Matt, and I don't entirely disagree with it. But I think if people will read the draft, and it will be plainly marked as a draft, it's not a final presentation, and if they read it and consider it from their own perspectives, then I think we can get some good conversations going. If there is a lot of contention, as you suggest, after the first hearing, we're still working on it, and it's not a finished product by any means. So we can make adjustments at that point.
The thing is, this is an update to an existing plan.
That's
It's not
correct.
starting from scratch, so it's a
right.
little different than it was before.
And I think that's one reason why we've taken this path, is that we have updated it back in 2019, and then things have completely changed down there since then of what was anticipated. So we will be making some dramatic changes to the update, the things that don't exist anymore. We've had 2 town votes on the solar field and on the admin building, and they're gone now. The concept's not there, so we have to address that in the update, simply by saying that it's not relevant anymore.
Not necessary.
Yeah, and then we'll go on from there with a lot of it. What we're incorporating in this now is what we've been hearing from the public over the last 6 years as to what they want the field to look like, what they want to do with it, and what they don't want to do with it. So there has been public input right along, Matt. It just hasn't been focused strictly on the plan.
The only thing I would caution to what you said is I appreciate that you involve the fishing community, QVC, and the other stakeholders, but the public as a whole, they're all stakeholders. Their tax money all pays
I understand.
for the upkeep and stuff of that field, so I just want to make sure that they have an opportunity for their input. And that's just my 2 cents on the deal.
Now, we will, if 3 hearings is not going to be enough, we can certainly adjust for more. That's not a set in stone thing. It was just a proposal that came to us with the charge to do this. And if I could make another comment,
Oh, yeah.
not on the master plan itself, but on the Mitchell Field thing, because you were asking about what the timing would be for the gate to be open and the study and review of activity. And we're certainly thinking the first full season of boat launch activity. And it may be, as we get into it and more people start to use it, it'll ramp up, pardon the pun, into more activity, and that would be foreseeable in the next year. So it may be it's going to take 2 seasons before we really get a good handle on traffic flow. Because right now, general usage is increasing all the time. I mean, the parking area that was behind the admin building has been full on more than one occasion in the last couple of seasons when the people were down at the beach area, either at the beach or picnicking or whatever they were doing. And that area is estimated to hold about 60 cars. So if you have 2 or 3 people in each car, that's
That's a lot of people.
a lot of people. And then, of course, when we have a big event like the band concerts, or the the lobster boat races, or the other things that some of the schools use the field for, it's even busier. So there'll be a lot of adjustments made, especially if that road that used to be in front of the admin building is made one way, which is what the plan you've looked at and talked about suggests. And there is going to be heavy boat trailer traffic coming out of the launch, going up to the old, what we call the donut, where they're supposed to park. So there will be some conflicts, I think, from time to time with people going to the beach and parking in that area. But we haven't determined we won't know what is a reasonable time to keep reviewing it and studying it and analyzing it until we see what actually happens down there. I think this year, when the launch is opened, that we'll get an awful lot of input access at the very beginning, and it may taper off later. Maybe some people don't want to use it, or for whatever reason, and so
The newness wears off.
it is at this point a open question. I do have a question for our administrator. You put those rocks down there on the edge of the launch, which is now 20 feet wide. You're going to restrict the flow of the traffic, because at one point we had hoped we could have a 2-lane ramp, but then putting the floats in took away 6
It's going to
feet.
go on the edge that,
You said on the edge of the asphalt. Is it going to be actually on the ramp itself, or is it going to be on the riprap?
It's going on the rocks.
it's going on the causeway area.
Yeah.
Where the rocks and the asphalt meet.
Okay. I get you.
And it's currently striped kind of in that area,
Yeah, okay.
but just to prevent anyone
So
from
it won't be on the edge of the
driving-
launch itself?
No, no,
Okay, okay.
Sorry if I was not clear
My,
about
just,
that.
in my
Yeah.
head, that's how I was seeing it.
Thank you for the update.
Yeah, thank you.
Mose, I think there was one, thank you for providing the timeline, and thank you, Selectman Gilly, for the public input, but I think there's one key component in your timeline that is missing, is when you prepare this draft and then you go out to the public, and then I think you said your last step is presenting to the select board. I think the select board needs to get the draft when it's available.
Okay.
I
thank
think
you,
there wasn't a
Carrie.
lot of direction from the select board, and so if you all have gone off and prepared this draft, and then it comes to the select board at the last step, and they say, absolutely not on something, then all your hard work has been for naught. And so I think the select board has to be engaged
Absolutely
prior
fine.
to the public. They have
Thank
to
you,
have
Carrie.
a,
Sure,
I
they have
forgot
to have a
mention that.
buy-in.
I
Yeah.
wasn't sure
Thank
which
you.
way you guys wanted to go on that. So that's no, I was anticipating that to begin with, and someone else suggested to me we wouldn't do it till after the hearings.
Well, certainly the final one, for sure,
Yeah.
but I think even before you go out to a draft, they should have some input at that point.
Okay.
Well, I attend all of the meetings anyway, so, yeah.
But the other two.
But the other, we
the-
don't.
There's
Yeah, but
three.
You're welcome.
You tell anybody what you
Well,
know?
no, no.
You'd have to
We
announce.
can if you're there.
That's why I
Have
think
to
it should
announce it.
come, it should come to the full board at a public meeting, and the public can hear your discussion, your feedback, your input.
There you go.
Are we good?
Yep, I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parks and Rec is stepping up.
I'm back. I appreciate all of the work that the master plan group has done, and working with Margaret closely to bring stakeholders in. And as Mose mentioned, some of it is just really updating the last document to remove things that are no longer relevant or that we have already made progress on, which to me feels sort of like a administrative update. There are other things in there that definitely warrant a broader conversation, not to bring up a spicy topic, but attainable housing has been discussed at Mitchell Field, and though I think that there's opinion that everybody feels a certain way, it's worth having a larger conversation. I also wholeheartedly agree with Mose that the next 1 to 2 years down at Mitchell Field, we're gonna learn a ton. So that begs the question, why we're putting in a master plan when we know that in 1 to 2 years, we're gonna learn a ton, and we'll probably have to update it again. So I'm, I'm wondering, there are easy administrative things to do, like take out the section about putting in a boat launch because we have done that. Take out stuff about solar panels, that's not happening. But if a lot is going to change, and this document is supposed to be guiding how we move forward down at Mitchell Field, would it not behoove us to slow down and gain a perspective of a very large change that we have just made down there before we spend all of this time on a document that we are all acknowledging is going to change in 1 to 2 years?
I look at it as a masterish plan. That there are a lot of things in there that we know aren't going to change, a lot of things we know are going to change, and we're trying to sort of smooth the bumps along the way as much as we can, I think so.
Not a mischievous plan.
Yeah.
I think those are all very excellent points. Thank you, Katie.
All right. Where are we at? Are we done with Mitchell? We'll never be done.
Never.
For now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be back.
Yep. Naming 2 rights of ways.
I'm glad you said that, rights of ways,
Yes.
not right of ways, right.
They're called rights of ways.
Thank you.
Tim?
Tim with codes. Is there any order that you wanted to talk to these
No.
about? Or I didn't look at the agenda you had.
Tuna Lane's first.
Tune Lane first, all right. You have a new lot. They're going through a family's existing lot. According to 911, if you have 2 residences on a driveway, it seems that we have a difference between a definition of road and when the 911 says you have to name a driveway a road name. Now, the previous code office didn't assign a name or a number until the project was done. I guess this office would like to do it prior because the rate of possible somebody getting hurt during construction, and if an EMT doesn't know how to get there,
Yep.
it's a problem.
Yep.
And so I feel that whenever a permit comes in, it needs to have some sort of location given to it.
So
if
the,
it's
the,
not
the
already there.
the house under construction would have an address as well?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
It's, because it's, what it says in our ordinance, I think, is habitable structures.
Habitable.
So you don't have to address a barn or someplace where there's nobody, yeah.
If it has plumbing or something to it and people could be there,
Yep.
there are times that I think that a wood shop should do it, because there's also
Right.
times that I think people will be there and something could happen.
Cut their finger off with a saw. right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also, we just look at each situation. I mean, if the house is right there, if an EMT pulled up and saw you floundering in the yard, I think they'd find you.
Yeah.
But that given, and if, I know this was broke off as a new subdivision, if the planning board wants to, in the future, it wasn't on the drawing, so for the driveway to come from the new division, so if they put one on there later, they can then address that when it comes. But as of this moment, it has 2 residents, 2 dwellings on a driveway.
Habitable structures.
Habitable structures, correct.
So,
Do you
no
want-
problem.
Okay. The second one,
So wait, should we,
yeah, did you want to
Act on the
talk
Tuna
about
Lane.
that? Yeah.
yeah, you know, I'll move Tuna Lane.
Hi, this lot, these 2 lots are part of a subdivision that actually recently, within the last year, broke off this lot and went to the planning board for a subdivision amendment. I can tell you, nobody's probably surprised, but our road ordinance language is funky. There's like 8 different ordinances that all touch on different regulations about roads, and it's really hard to figure out which applies, and they all kind of look at things in a different light. But I would request that you guys will hold off on approving this road until your next meeting, where I can figure out, determine in writing whether or not it needs a subdivision amendment. Because to me, a new road within a subdivision needs to be shown on a subdivision plan.
Needs to be some action there, yeah.
So I just
Okay.
want to be sure that we are making the right decision before we go ahead and make new roads in subdivisions.
Very well.
How does it hurt to name the road?
But I think, Margaret, I just have a question.
Yeah.
So
You could ask the
if they were putting their driveway in off Curtis Cove Road, to
Right.
the lot, then
Yeah.
you wouldn't, that would not be an issue, because it would be a Curtis Cove address.
Right, and when this amendment went through the planning board, the applicant said their driveway was going to be off Curtis Cove Road. Otherwise, if they had planned for this, we would have done the amendment when we would have put this in. But if it's a new road, it needs to be shown on a subdivision plan, and that's what the subdivision ordinance says. The definition of a road, I think, is where things get really mucky, so I just want to be sure that this is going to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance before it gets approved.
I don't mind waiting until that's resolved.
Actually, I make a motion that we name it Tuna Lane.
What is the downfall to naming the road, like Kevin asked?
That it's-
Before that amendment goes through, is there a downfall?
That you're kind of recognizing the road before it's in compliance with the ordinance. The ordinance has all these different standards about road construction and stuff, and so if we're gonna be putting in new roads and subdivisions, and it's all gonna be standardized as it is in the ordinance, everybody needs to be held, to the same.
But I'm
standard.
just going back to, if it was coming off of Curtis Cove Road, it would
Right.
be a driveway.
Right.
And you wouldn't even be talking about a new road name,
But there's a
because,
second home.
but that's coming
Did they
through
both
another
have
lot.
addresses at this point?
There's no site plan involved with this application, so I'm not sure, I haven't seen it. This just came, I just wanted a little bit more time to make a determination,
So-
because I don't know what the site looks like or anything.
So you say there's a potential this road may not be approved?
I
All right.
think that this road would be approved at some point, but I just want to make sure that we are treating all subdivision roads equally.
Is it a road or a driveway?
Depends on which ordinance you read.
Well, we get a recommendation from the code office that we name it.
And a request from the planning office that you don't.
Well,
I'm fine waiting.
I don't mind waiting until
I'm
it's
not.
resolved.
Why do you want to wait? I'll hear you out.
why not? Why not just approve it? And if some reason it isn't,
Because what do we do if it doesn't get the amendment, and then we've named a road that doesn't end up being a road?
why wouldn't it get the amendment?
Worst case scenario, they are the ones that are gonna have to change their address. This is why we have so many houses that have the wrong numbers on them. I'm trying to get a hold of the realtors because there really isn't a good time to change that house number, but at the time of sale, we have one right over here on the other side of Mountain Road Bridge that needs to be changed. I was told by Art that it needed to be changed, but until there's a reason and a change of hands, it's tough.
Do you think that by changing the road name, it will make it easier if there is an accident for the fire department to find it with the new road name than it would now?
Every time there's a new road, it goes on to Jay's spreadsheet that goes to everybody. Then they'll know where it is. Right now, nobody would know where it is.
Okay, I'll second it then under that case.
But they
That,
would know
to
where
be
Curtis
fair-
Cove is.
To be fair, any new house with any new address goes on that list. So if you put in that house off Curtis Cove Road, it's gonna say 93 Curtis Cove. If you do it this way, it's gonna say 93 Tuna Lane. So either way, it's all gonna go on the same database, no matter what road you're on. It's just,
But how
The
do we
911
get it to the
database.
database sooner by calling it Tuna Lane, don't we?
no.
Well,
No, it's gonna go into the database whenever it gets addressed.
I'm trying
I'm
to
just
find out.
asking for
Is the
2
building
weeks.
even under construction? They haven't, it is under construction?
Yeah.
They've been given a building permit.
So I'm just asking for 2 weeks. I'll come back to you guys and say, yes, this road needs to go to planning board, or no, it doesn't. But I think that it's important
I don't know what the
that-
hurry is, frankly. That's why
I just think it's
trying to-
important that if we're gonna have a subdivision ordinance, that everybody is held to the same
The only
standard, and
reason
that's all
I
I care about.
would approve it if there was a safety issue with the fire department finding them. That's my biggest concern, is if there is an accident, that it's easy for the fire department or the police or whatever emergency services it may be to find them.
Yeah.
If naming it Tuna Lane makes that easier, then I'd second it, but if it doesn't change anything, then I don't mind waiting 2 weeks.
It's not gonna change, it's gonna get addressed either way. And the house is under construction, there's not a dwelling at this point, it's just a construction site.
I would like the question to be resolved, because it's not just this case, it's other cases
Yeah.
that will
It
fall
sets
into.
precedent.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
I'm not gonna second, I'll wait 2 weeks. What Margaret says, if it's gonna have an address and do you agree with that, Tim, that it will be just as easy to find? If we don't give it the road name?
It's gonna be, is it easier to find now?
Yeah,
Yes, if we give it a road name, because it's new. If, we can't give it a Curtis Cove address, because there's already a house on that,
yeah, and that house would have
So-
to change their address.
and they're not on the same lot.
A
And I guess I
visual would be
disagree that,
Yeah.
that it's, I still feel that there's more chance of somebody getting hurt during construction than there is when it's just a dwelling.
I agree.
So,
I'm not saying that the road can't be Tuna Lane and it can't go in. The question that we're trying to answer is whether or not it needs a subdivision amendment before the road gets named. That's the question. When they came to the planning board, they said their road was gonna be off Curtis Cove Road. Now they're making an amendment, adding an additional road in a subdivision, and that, by the subdivision ordinance, needs to be shown on a subdivision plan. So if we're gonna name it, it needs to get amended. And this should have been dealt with when they came to the planning board for their amendment last year, and now we need to amend it now.
Having chaired the planning board, I see the issue.
I do too. Well, I didn't chair the planning board, but I see the issue.
Not yet, anyway, right?
I see the issue, I just don't see it as consequent.
It's circumnavigating the process that's in place, and I'm not a fan of circumnavigating processes unless it would contribute to the safety of people, and I don't really think it does. I think they can still be found at this point. I say we wait 2 weeks.
All right, well, next one.
okay, next one, basically, I'm sure same types of issues. No, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, get the two mixed up. The one right behind Pete's grocery store.
But this isn't a
Stop.
subdivision, right? This is a little different.
In my opinion, it's not a subdivision. It was divided between two people. The grandkid on the north split it into 3 lots. The grandkid on the south broke it into 2.
But it
They
doesn't
were
have.
held
it-
by 2 separate
It
deeds.
doesn't bring the question in that Margaret had. That's what I'm, so. So,
Yeah, so it's not a subdivision.
right.
That's possibly. It could be argued because of whatever. However you read deeds or look at surveys, which could be,
So I got a call from, you guys may have, as well know. She wanted to name it Rocky Way because her dog's name was Rocky and it has
Yeah.
passed away. It is an
we have too
emotional
many
thing.
Rockies.
Yeah, and it looks like, wow, we've got rocks and Rockies all over the place.
Yeah.
I understand, I just, yeah. Well,
What
We're
do you got
bringing it
for
up
this
on
one?
tax map.
Hi, Margaret McIntyre, the town planner again, Kevin Johnson, it's so nice to see you. I just want to, again, ask for 2 weeks on naming this road. I have serious questions about whether or not this road really meets the standards of the road ordinance, about whether or not this lot has legal frontage, and I'm not saying it doesn't. I just think that we have not done our diligence in making sure this is a legal buildable lot before we approve this road.
And are
It's
you talking about 104-1?
104-1. Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm not saying that there's necessarily anything wrong, but I do think that there are some real questions that have been raised about this lot and that they just need to be answered before we move forward.
Is there anything on 104-1? Any structures or
No.
constructions happening at this point?
No, but there's deed questions, there's right-of-way questions, there's subdivision questions.
Wow.
Because to have a legal frontage on a lot, you need a 33-foot wide right-of-way, but this lot may not have a 33-foot wide right-of-way, which makes it not a legal lot to build on. So anyways, it's just getting into the minutia of the ordinances, but again, if you could give us 2 weeks just to make sure that we are doing what's in alignment with the ordinances, that would be great.
See you back here in 2 weeks.
Yep.
All right. Curtis, Memorial Library Memorandum of Understanding.
So we have Liz Doucette with us here tonight. She's the executive
for waiting.
director at Curtis. And she only has about a month left in your position?
Two
Or-
months until I
Oh,
retire.
2 months, okay.
Yeah,
And
I'll
then
be retiring
retirement.
at the end of July. So I think Christy was kind of hoping I would come and talk about this before I
Yeah,
retired.
Yes.
So over the past 20 years while I've been the director, we have not every single time, but pretty consistently done a 3-year memo of understanding, asking between the library and the town of Harpswell. All that does is it sets out some planning about what we think we're going to ask for, so the town also understands what we're going to ask for. I do think it was in all the documents that you got when we did 2026. And really the biggest reason is for the simplification of the process, and it clarifies expectations, and it allows both the town and the library to do planning. And I can answer any questions you have. It's pretty similar to what I presented about 6 months ago. And probably the things I always remind folks of is that Harpswell supports our operations, but it does, with the funding that they provide, but it does not pay for books, the bookmobile, furniture, programming, technology, staff training, volunteer support, any capital expenses or building updates. And so it's really a pretty extraordinary financial benefit for the town in terms of what you get for that. So the requested increase that was approved at town meeting in March was $164,400. And that was an increase of 3.35% versus the 3 years before that, where there had not been any increases. And so what we requested for 2027 was the same amount, plus $5,000 to support the purchase of books for the bookmobiles, which supports Harpswell to a large extent, and then the same thing in 2028. So we're trying to simplify these requests as much as possible. At this point in time, Brunswick, the town of Brunswick actually pays for sorry, the pollen today just really came out.
There's plenty of it.
Yeah.
It's all over my car. So Brunswick pays for 92.3% of the municipal funding for the library, and Harpswell pays for 7.7%. Brunswick has 81% of the population, and Harpswell has 18%. So again, it's a really good financial deal. What questions can I answer?
I know. I love Curtis Library.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm a card holder.
yeah.
I don't have any questions.
No.
I move that we sign the memorandum of understanding.
I'll second.
Great.
And
So
any
I
discussion?
can give you the documents, and
Yeah.
if you can get everybody signed, and then
Absolutely.
we'll get somebody
Then
on the
scoop.
library board to sign.
Perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
All in favor?
I now know a lot more about everything today than I ever knew before.
Fun stuff.
I hope it doesn't keep you awake tonight.
We appreciate all you've done over the years. Thank you so much.
All right, request from former Oars Island Bridge leasee.
That's you, Harold.
That's Harold.
Absolutely. Right now, before you leave?
I don't know if anybody is.
Oh, shit. You get the timeline?
Yeah, we got emailed to us yesterday by Christie. I have it on my computer.
Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, sounds good, thanks.
All right, Harold.
Hi.
So, what we got going on here, Harold, we haven't heard from you for 2 years.
Well, the reason of it, I was sick at the time, sometimes, and I didn't have the strength that I should have had at the time, but that's beside the point. Now that I feel that I can take care of it, I want the wharf back.
Okay, the big question is, it needs to be used for commercial fishing.
Since when?
Well, that's part of the, that's.
All
part-
right, wait a minute. Jack done had his there for how many years? And he done nothing but for pleasure.
It's all right.
Okay. I run mine for lobsters at the time, but now the town comes in, I've tried to buy that from the state. Just the area where our wharf was to the road. All right, they tell me I can't buy fill land. How did the town get it? Can you tell me that?
The state turned it over to the town of Harpswell.
Well, I don't think it's right myself. I think it should have been turned over to the fishermen.
Well,
The town of Harpswell has got their nose into everything now,
Well-
and there's nothing left for anybody else.
Harold,
These three people here makes rules, and the rest of us got to stand up by it.
well,
Now, we're going to do one thing or the other. I'm
Harold,
going
wait
to
a
get it
minute.
one way, or I'm going to get it another.
Harold, for one thing,
So it's up to you.
nobody ever had permission to have the wharfs there. The state gave it, the state didn't want to deal with it. They gave it to the town of Harpswell, and nobody owned any land.
The town of Hartsville can't own it any more than I can, according to the law.
Well, actually, the state of Maine gave it to the town of Harpswell. And-
Well, the state can't give something away that they don't own.
And all the Dunnings, Morgans, nobody asked permission to put the wharfs there. They just put them there. And then after a while,
That's right, and we've used it for, I've been down that bridge for over 70 years. Now you tell me you're gonna throw me off of there because you want to offer somebody else?
wouldn't you like
I
some,
don't think it's gonna happen.
wouldn't you like some young fishermen to get that?
The fishermen don't want it any more than I do, really.
Well,
We
they're the
have-
only
I
ones.
want it because I'm an old man and I want to get down there and go fishing. I want to take my boat down there and go fishing and enjoy myself for the rest of my life. And if you guys don't let me do it, I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to see if I can find law enough in the state of Maine to sue the town of Harpswell for about $250 million. That's all I want.
You'd be wasting a lot of money on legal fees.
Yeah, I know. That's my privilege though. If I gotta sell my damn house, I'm gonna end up with it. If I gotta sit down in an old junk car and deal with it.
So Harold, I'd like to work something out with you. You've gone several years without talking to
I
us.
went 2 years without it, yes, I did.
So I'm, personally, myself, I'm willing to work something out so that you can get it back, so that you can stay there. The requirement is that these wharves are used for commercial fishing. That's where we put the priority in Harpswell.
Well, I can't commercial fish anymore.
Well, is there anyone in your family who can or does?
Huh?
Is there anyone in your family who does?
No.
It doesn't
the
just
only
have,
man
it can be a
that-
marine-related
commercial fish
business.
then.
Marine related.
Like, there's wharf builders
me.
that have,
Yeah, marine related business. So can we work this out so that you, you have to, we are giving priority to marine related business, commercial fishing, wharf builders, people that need access to the water for their living. That's where our priority is with these lots, with these wharfs. And now I understand you built that wharf, you've been there for, you just said 70 years. I understand.
Yeah, but I was there,
Well, our
I was
family's
at
been
there, I
there
was
for-
on the bridge for 70 years. I
Yep.
was on Harvey Dunning's wharf before. I fished off of Harvey London when I first started.
Oh, yeah, right, and Jack,
And they transferred me to town, asked me if I would go across the other side to protect the traffic going down through.
right, that was right, that
So
was
I
dangerous.
went along with it 100%.
Yeah.
And
I-
what did I do?
I was involved in
After I
that.
got it all built and that, they turned around and said, well, you can't have that. It belongs to the Dunning family.
So Jack has given his up.
Yeah, Jack has given it to my wife. I never had a word on it. But I'm the one that built it. My wife didn't build it.
No, Jack gave his wolf.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to point out some parts of the policy. So you keep mentioning the marine-related.
Yep.
The policy, specifically, a past select board worded it very carefully in the beginning of the policy. It says, the select board shall decide on an annual basis whether to enter into annual lease agreements with certain individuals who historically have had commercial wharves attached to the town-owned property at the Oars Island Bridge. Because at the time, the board was aware that they weren't all marine-related that had the leases at the wharf. And so then your marine-related, that's for your policy, for your new coming in.
Okay.
And so I just really wanted to point that out to you
So the
because.
previous policy.
So I think
All right.
your issue is not necessarily that Mr. Maney has to have a marine-related business at this time, based on how, I mean, the board can change its own policy, but based on your current policy, you would decide on an annual basis to enter into a lease who have historically had these leases. I think your question, your issue to ponder this evening is Mr. Maney did not respond or sign the leases in the past 2 years. So that's, I think, more your issue for consideration tonight.
Yes, thank you, Terry. That clears it up very well.
Well, I guess my issue with that is by not signing the lease the last 2 years, this is essentially a new lease now.
I know, that's the hitch.
And how many people do we have any idea how many people are on the wait list?
I think
If
at
any.
least 3 have expressed interest, but, yeah, 3.
Well, you know what?
What's wrong with George Morgan's wharf down there? That he gave to his son, and Gene gave his to his son, and Martin them turned around and sold Armand the wharf on the end, and still I can't do a thing with mine. There's something wrong with this subject here in the town of Harpswell
You know what?
that they're overlooking.
Well, the hitch comes from that you've gone a couple of years without
Who gets it?
talking to us or coming back for to renew your lease.
All right, make your motion. I know we had it.
I move that we let him we go Harold's wharf back to him because, but you got to behave yourself. You got to come in and see us. You got to pay $100 to lease it and make sure you're insured and all that stuff.
Well, I'm gonna check into it now. I will do it, but
Okay.
I'm gonna check into it too.
All right.
I'm
So-
gonna go to my lawyer and find out what's going on. Whether the town can have
I know we had this.
filled land and I can't buy it. And why is it they can have it, but I can't buy it?
No matter.
All right,
Yeah, it does matter.
You shouldn't need a lawyer.
Have it, just,
You shouldn't need a lawyer. We're trying to help you out here.
all right.
You behave yourself in the future and
I-
talk to us.
I will find out about it.
That's fine, I'll do it.
What the law says is what I'm gonna go with.
Yep. Did you make a motion?
I did.
You did.
All right, I
Huh?
second it.
you could have it, leave it.
All in favor?
I-
Harold, do me a favor.
Wait a minute.
You
Yeah.
had one
I didn't.
that didn't raise a hand.
I didn't.
No,
So do you have one?
2 to 1.
So you're voting opposed? You're
Yes.
opposed?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stop driving your tractor to Brunswick.
I'd love
They
to.
already did.
I'd like to drive it back to Brunswick again.
Yeah.
The sheriff's department says I can't do it, but
Well, you-
the state told me I could. I can go 10 miles from my house from a tractor.
Good gravy.
Well, it's all right.
Yes,
No
that's what
fight.
the state told me.
10 miles from the farm. That's
Huh?
correct. 10 miles from the farm, you're right.
Well, okay, my house, I'd go for food and that down there.
So, Mr.
That's
Maney,
the farm.
Mr. Maney, they voted to enter the lease with you, and you can,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm not fighting them.
Dusty, just tell me good.
The fight's over.
I wasn't sure if you was clear on the motion.
Yeah.
See you in a couple of days.
All right.
Oh, boy. Folded like a cheap suit.
This is why people watch our meetings, you know.
All right. Grant application regarding town energy improvements.
I think Mary Ann Naif, who's the chair of the Resiliency and
Sure.
Sustainability Committee, is going to present the ideas we have for a grant proposal.
Hello, I'm Mary Ann Naif with the Resiliency and Sustainability Committee. I believe Margaret sent an outline of what we're talking about. Basically, the town received a grant to do an energy audit 3 years ago. And there was a listing and a bid package is made of what needed to be done to take care of the energy loss.
So this addresses the audit.
This addresses what you had audited, yes. John Monahan put together bid packages that took care of the specifics of what was going to be having to be taken care of. I believe Margaret mentioned them in there. I'm not positive because I don't have a copy of it, but I do have a copy of what we've come up with. Basically, there were general air sealing. Thank you.
Oops.
Yes. So basically, it says adding ceiling insulation, add storm windows, and in the stairwell, replace some windows. General air sealing, basically to take care of many of the drafts. There are 2 doors. One, which is the back door, employees' entrance. And there's also a door over here by the boiler room. Those will be included in this. We did between Tim and Coles and myself, we did a general estimate to get an idea, and we can do everything except the last item on there, which was to do a complete going around the outside of the perimeter of the foundation and putting in foam core for insulation.
Oh,
Right.
That was considered to be between $100,000 and $150,000 job.
Wow.
Because you're going to have to bring equipment in to pull out the dirt from the foundation, slide that in, replace it, and then replace plantings.
You'll never get your money back.
Probably not.
Right.
And we don't have enough
Not
to
in our
cover in this.
lifetime.
Oh, good.
So-
I'd veto that one.
So based on that, and then it was brought to our attention yesterday that there was a problem over at the TV station with some cooling, I believe, David? And
Yes.
the,
There was 90.
yes, so basically it determined that a heat pump system would probably be the most economical way to take care of that.
Yes.
David brought a estimate today, which is approximately $10,000. So.
And
when
there's
all
another
is-
one for 7,000 there, so.
Okay, good to know. So also, between the two of those, between that project and what we came up with, or all the pieces of this, it comes to $78,000. So basically, the grant's worth 75, and then we have some spare funds that we can put in. So I'm asking you to authorize Christie to sign this. This grant is due on June 5th.
Yep.
And, what am I trying to say? And John Monahan is working up the sliding scale of what the energy benefits are, which we will include with the grant, which
John is very good at that.
Yeah.
He's very good at that.
so there had been some confusion between the Energy and Technology Committee because Howie had been out for a while, but I think we've gotten everything together. I will get these numbers to him.
You're back running on all cylinders now, right? So
I think so. And for what we need for the grant, from my perspective, we have what we need, which was how much it was going to come to.
Well, I move we apply for the grant and authorize Christie to sign it.
I second that.
No discussion, all in favor?
I forgot one other thing. We also did, would ask you to approve of using Spirit funds up to $5,000, which we had approved at our resiliency committee.
So moved.
So seconded.
All in favor?
Right.
Thank you.
That was easy.
Thank
That was
you,
easy.
Marianne.
Okay, you're welcome.
Highlight of the evening.
Yeah.
Geez, you got a pile of bids there. Whoa.
Oh, the bid for the tar.
It never works.
I caught myself on that thing. I'm glad they give it to
You're gonna
you.
hand them the bid?
I'm not allowed to
Oh,
have
he's got
sharp
'em?
objects.
Oh, I thought you had them.
There you
He's
go.
giving up
Oh,
and he's
boy,
getting his
do we
knife
have a
out.
drum roll or
Yeah.
something?
I'm the worst person at rhythm.
Is the opener not working?
He's,
He's got a knife.
Look out.
I couldn't, it wasn't gold.
Look out, he's got a knife.
She told me she'd give me a gold letter opener.
Gold? That's
you
ripping
certainly
an envelope
mutilated that
apart.
envelope.
Knock it off. All right. We have a bid right here. For $6,900.
Did you want to say the name?
Oh, Damon Johnson.
Okay.
Any relation? Somewhere back there.
Yeah. You shake the tree. He's an island boy. How's that?
Oh, you're
That
getting
thing is
better.
pretty sharp. I'll give you credit.
Oh, yeah. Never have a dull knife.
A Bowie knife.
This one here is for $8,000 from Chris Bailey. Bidding viewer telling me it's open.
Careful, you cut yourself, it'll go viral on the internet.
Oh, what? I'd share it.
I had a
don't
vision.
even have social media.
I had a vision of me sitting over here bleeding. All right, the last bid.
I'm glad we can laugh.
It looks like $6,100 from Kevin Gilmore.
Sounds like Mr. Bailey.
Oh, you got,
Looks like Mr. Bailey gets the winning bid at $8,000.
wow, great.
Is that
Yeah.
a motion?
Yeah, make a motion that we offer Mr. Bailey for
Second.
Or you
$8,000.
accept his offer?
I can wait, I'll second it.
Yeah,
All in favor? All right,
You want to hand those
enough
out?
of that foolishness. All right, public comment? Other business?
Hang on, we got public comment.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Easy now, easy.
My name is Danielle. I'm from Harpswell Neck. I think I missed part of it because I didn't realize you guys started early. But I was about the naming of the road.
Rocky.
Yes. So I didn't know if I'm too late.
No, we didn't,
They didn't make a decision.
They didn't
yet.
make a decision?
you gotta
Okay.
come back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, is that when it is? Okay, is that what's happening?
But you
Sorry, I
can-
don't mean to,
but
I
you
don't
can-
know.
You can have your say, though. I mean, you
Okay.
can say.
We are the board of indecision.
You are, okay. So,
It's
it's a very unique place. So my house is actually between the post office and store on 123.
Yep.
Most people don't even know that there's a house back there. So I understand that you can't have like-named roads. But no matter what, on any 911, it says that it is behind Uncle Pete's and the post office because nobody knows it's back there. I know there's one other name that has, well, two names that have Rocky in it. There's Rocky Hill, there's Rocky Shore. Then there's two names that are Rock. Only one of them is on the 123 side. One's on Orr's Island, and the other two are in the harbor. So I just would really like you guys to consider my Rocky Way if it goes through. just because with the 911 system, it is already going to be flagged. It's flagged right now as to where it is because it's such a unique location, so.
They do, the dispatchers do say the cross street, so.
They do, correct,
where
right.
it's-
I'm
where-
on the EMS. I recently joined 2 years ago. I just became an EMT for the town 6
Thank
months
you,
ago.
thank you.
You know, so I,
There you
you know,
go.
I don't want to throw that out there. I don't want that to be any part of your decision, but I do know that they say the cross names, so.
So,
It didn't hurt.
Yeah, you know, that is
No,
my,
no,
you know,
it-
that is my pitch to you guys.
but the real
I just-
reason we put it off for 2 weeks
Yeah.
is that Margaret's questioning whether your road is wide enough.
It is not. I can tell you right now.
So
And my
that-
well is too close. Somebody will have to pay to move it.
So she's
I've
trying
already
to,
done my, I
You've
did
done
my,
your due diligence.
I did, because, so my dad tried to buy the property before it got sold. And he actually was told by codes that he couldn't build on it. So he didn't buy it, because why buy a piece of property you can't build on it? So I was kind of very shocked to hear once people were showing up and, you know, all of this was happening, I kind of was like, whoa. Like, my family tried to buy that so we could be around each other, and now all of a sudden, so I'm glad that there's some questioning of it, because it is only 20 feet, the road right now, and my well is 5 feet from there.
so Margaret's just trying to address those things.
Yeah.
And so she's
So,
coming
okay.
back to us in 2 weeks.
Okay, all right, perfect.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Any more public comment? We have no more public. All right, other business, we have contract with Port City Architects. This is an extension of, they're the ones designing our EMS building. And we asked them to help us out with a new recycling building. We need some help, so.
I notice your name is Keith now.
Oh, is that what it says?
Yeah,
Kevin?
oh yeah, look at that.
I get Kevin.
Right
Get
there.
Kevin on yours?
You Keith Johnson.
But I did share that with the recycling center manager, and he said he does believe that the town and the group needs help working through this process. This is more
all
of
need
a
help.
understanding what the interior might look like, what the needs of the operational space are, so I think it would be,
Isn't an architect required for any public building or commercial building?
that's an interesting question.
Well,
I-
originally, we were gonna do a pre-engineered building up there, probably still are,
Yeah.
but, you know, now we found out it's over 3,500 square feet, so it's gotta be sprinkled and
Yeah.
this thing and that thing.
I know there, when a public works project is of a certain magnitude, you are required to use an engineer, but I don't know for a building project if you're required to use an architect.
The TV station, we had to have an architect.
Okay.
And he was, he
Huh.
donated his time, but we
Yeah.
were required to have an
Yeah.
architect.
Huh.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good move for the town.
Oh, I do, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Help get
I
this
just had a
process moving.
what is the direct reimbursable what is that?
Oh, it might be copies or,
Yeah, copies, gas money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's still a deal.
Yeah, for 10 grand, yeah.
Yeah,
For-
and I
for-
think they do an excellent, they've done great with the EMS stuff, so.
Oh, yeah. He redesigned it.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, the amount is $9,744. Should we agree to accept it?
I move that we accept it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Hey,
great, thank you.
All right. Anything else?
There is
That's impressive.
an additional Oars Island Bridge lease signed. You've already signed the other three, and this is for Mark Davis, and then I guess I'll be coming back one more time with Mr. Maney, but I do have a Oars Island Bridge lease for select board signature this evening.
all right, we'll stick around for a minute.
All right. In that case, we're adjourned.